As the festive fixtures have come to a conclusion, we now see the final stretch. The final second half of the Premier League season is well underway. Liverpool still romping it through at the top of the Premier League. At the bottom, Southampton rooted to the bottom of the league after a pretty devastating home defeat at the weekend. Josh is with me, hopefully Sean very shortly as well. Josh, how are you, mate?
Not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Your laptop screen's making you blend in like a Smurf, which is
Yeah, I had a different setup today, so yeah, a bit rough tonight.
all good, all good. Sean's just messaged me. I'll be a bit late, that's okay. So we will throw a spanner in the works, and we will not start with Tottenham 1, Newcastle 2. We will start with Aston Villa 2, Leicester 1. And over to you, Josh. Of course, we've got you on Friday night in the FA Cup. So a win against Leicester beforehand.
Yeah, and it certainly wasn't pretty either. It's one of them where we've played well, better, and lost before. We're probably, I wouldn't even say we're a better team, to be honest. I thought they looked more friendly side, especially first half. We've had quite a tough festive period after the Man City game. Obviously, we got battered at Newcastle away. We were with 10 men for most of the game, but we still got battered in that one. Brighton at home was quite a poor performance, really. 2 points dropped, and then I thought the other day didn't think we were great at all either, to be honest. First half we struggled to get hold of the ball. We looked just quite slack when we had it. We weren't really pressing to get it back. It's sort of like now teams are coming to Villa Park and putting a foot on the ball and believing they can get something. Whereas last season, I think we made Villa Park a place where teams would just come and park the bus, really, put 10 men behind the ball, and we'd have 70% possession. So even when we weren't winning games, we could take the positives. Well, our place is now a place where teams just come and park the bus. Whereas this season now, teams are starting to get more confidence against us. I've seen it a few times this season where teams have come, just put the foot on the ball and actually been the better side against us, like teams in the bottom half, which isn't ideal at all. And I thought it was the same the other day. We won the game, but it was definitely scrappy. Defensively, we still just look all at sea at times. Just the long ball over the top, the defenders just keep letting the ball bounce, not dealing with the problem. It's two league clean sheets all season. I'm pretty sure there was 6 in the whole of 2024 in all competitions, which is just grim, really. So we definitely need to tighten up defensively. We got the job done. Ross Barkley with a really well taken goal, and Nia Matson coming off the bench, making a real impact, getting the assist for Bailey. But I thought there wasn't much in the game at all. I thought Leicester, they give a very good account of themselves. They come to our place. They probably had more of the ball first half, and probably had the better chances first half, to be fair, as well. And I thought they were unlucky, to be fair. I don't think we were great by any stretch of the imagination. I think we're about 9th or 8th now. It's not ideal, as I said. We've had quite a tough festive period. I think we probably needed 6 points from Brighton and Leicester at home. That's what we would have liked, especially with the fixtures we've got coming up. We've got Everton away, which is never an easy place to go. And then we've got Arsenal away. They're on next 2 league games, so that's not ideal. Probably could have done with 2 wins in the last 2.
And you've got the mighty West Ham after that, so nothing to worry about, Josh.
Well, we don't have too much of a great record against you either the last few years, so that's also not ideal. But yeah, it wasn't pretty at all, but we got the job done, so it's one of them, you take it. But I'm hoping to see a few reinforcements this window.
Yeah, of course, from a West Ham perspective, there's added interest with playing you guys twice in the space of 3 weeks coming up towards the remainder of January, and obviously the cup game with slightly less importance from us at the moment. But I haven't watched Villa too much this season. But 8th in the league, which isn't awful by any stretch of the imagination, but I sense just a little bit of a regression from last season, and obviously doing okay in the Champions League. At one point you were firing, but still doing okay in the Champions League. But when that all kicks into gear again, which I presume was very soon, then juggling all of these different competitions, if you get through in the FA Cup, which I expect you to on Friday night, there's a lot to juggle in that sense, and it's going to be an interesting back end of the season for Aston Villa.
Yeah, definitely. I think a couple of reasons why we haven't been great this season, but just not as good. I think losing Douglas Luiz in the summer has had a massive impact on the team. I think he's our best player. He's just so important to the way we built up. He just kept us ticking over in the middle of the park, and I think losing him isn't ideal at all. The Jordi Tielemans had to replace him, and I just don't think we have the same control when he plays there instead of Luiz, because he's one of them. He's always looking for the killer pass. Whereas when we had Luiz playing in that sort of just anchor in the midfield, he'd sort of control the game a bit more. Whereas Tielemans is always looking for the killer pass, and that's one reason why we definitely have much control of games this season. And also losing Moussa Diaby as well, because now we've only got one natural winger in the squad, which is Leon Bailey, who's been awful this season. He got his first goal the other day, but which I should give him some confidence. But before that, he was absolutely dreadful again. It was one of his worst performances of the season until he scored that goal. So that's another issue, the fact that we've got one natural winger in the squad, and Leon Bailey's having to play every minute of every game pretty much because we haven't got an alternative, basically, and he's bang out of form, and we're just trying to play him into form because that's the only option we've got. So there's a couple of things that have changed since last season, which is probably why we haven't been as great. I'm hoping we just have a year like Newcastle did last year, and then next year, look, they're flying again now, back to the best. So I'm hoping
maybe it's a sort of one season on, one season off and go again for Aston Villa. It's going to be an interesting one nevertheless. We're hoping Sean's going to join us shortly. I've heard a rumour that he's gone to try and find some Tottenham centre halves because they're all injured currently. They don't have one. So my intel has told me he's currently on the search for a centre half. Now, all joking aside, we will come back to Tottenham when he appears, hopefully sooner rather than later. But before we do that, good to everyone in the chat. Terry, Sharky, hope you are well. Jay, I got excited. I thought Lopetegui was sacked, but then seeing he hasn't been. He is hanging on a knife edge, but currently has not been sacked from West Ham, to my understanding. Press the like button, please, folks. Otherwise, Lopetegui will stay as West Ham manager. There's a very weak correlation between hitting the like button and Lopetegui staying or going as West Ham manager. Sharky, but I like your train of thought. Absolutely. Bran, flakes and fruits. You posh, aren't you? Blimey. Yeah, absolutely no smoke without fire. He's hanging by a thread, Lopetegui, as it stands. Hanging by a thread, but still remains in a job. My like button is now broken as I smashed it too hard. Well, there we go. Greg's do fruit. Yeah, little pots. They're very nice. Apple and strawberry, melon and grape. Very good, if I do say so myself. See, Josh seems enthused.
I didn't know that.
See, you learn something new every day when you've got a Greg's employee here. You see, the hat's there, right? There we go. Terry offered to buy me the donut in the services on the way back from Man City. Josh, what happens is if we win away, then I buy a donut in the services. But for Man City, if we score, then I buy a donut. I make an exception, and we scored. So I was going to buy the donut, but Terry bought it for me. So I was not going to say no to that. And I don't quite think he realised how much they were until we got to the till. Josh's granddad, hope you are well. Eric as well. Thank you very much indeed. Rumours into overdrive about Lopetegui, still not 100% he's gone. He has not gone yet. It was £3.10. Yeah, but I'd have paid for it, but you offered. You offered fruit flavoured steak bakes. I never tried them. Are they decent? I don't know because we don't sell them. It was quite small, but standard these days. And it was a nice donut as well. It was Biscoff, Krispy Kreme. Josh had Biscoff bits on the top, and the stuff inside was Biscoff. It was nice. It was solid. Looks like it's going to be Graham Potter. It does. It does. As I said yesterday, I left home with 110 in my pocket and got home with 20, mugged off. But not all by me. Right, you gave me some money and then you bought my donut, but come on, it wasn't all me. It wasn't all me. Don't blame it all on me. Jake left home with a tenner and came home with 33. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's absolutely brilliant. Sean is on his way, we've heard. Absolutely, yeah. I get no discount at any other Greg's. I'm a franchise employee, unfortunately, but there we go. Maybe I could get Greg's as a sponsor. I do sit here with a Greg's hat there, so maybe that's it. Right, our leader has arrived. We've stalled long enough. Mr. Sean Lewis, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. Sorry I'm late. Blame the wife.
Blame the wife. What's she done? Come on, you got to tell us now.
Oh, I've had to pick her up from work.
Oh dear.
The things I do for her.
The things you do. Well, what a fantastic role model you are, Sean. But we will go. Well, I mean, I made up the theory that you've gone out trying to look for centre halves for Spurs, but maybe you won't. I'll caveat on to Tottenham 1, Newcastle 2, and let you fire away, Sean.
Oh, I expect you. I've mentioned loads of times about our injury issues, but obviously we had an illness in the camp in the run up to this game, so it was. I think fans were very worried that it might get messy and the result would be a heavy defeat. 2 secs. But it wasn't, and it was actually surprisingly quite good how we played. Most fans were quite happy. There's quite a lot of uproar about some of the officiating. I'm sure you've seen 2 or 3 of their decisions. I usually like my law book, don't I? But these ones, it were the sort of decisions where it blurred the lines a little bit. I thought. I don't know if you've seen any of them.
Josh, do you see what he's doing here? See, he gets his law book out every week, but as soon as a Spurs handball comes in, he puts the law book away.
There's 2 different this law. Do you know when teams break away and on attack and a hand stops the attack? It's usually pulled back for a free kick. Okay, so that side of the law, I think that should have been a free kick. But the side of the law where if you handball it and you don't directly score a goal, then the goals are meant to stand. So in theory, I'm thinking, surely if you stop at an attack with your arm out by your side, he even moved his arm down, probably accidental, to hit the ball. I don't see why that wasn't a free kick. Maybe I'm not sure whether VAR can give that as a free kick. Do you know what I mean? I think because the ref didn't give it, I think after that we were knackered, basically.
Yeah.
But I thought Dan Burn should have been sent off because he stopped the play with a foul once, and then he stopped play with a handball when he was sort of he tucked in at the end, but he was sort of starfishing to stop the play. So I think he was quite fortunate to survive that one. But the fans were largely quite happy with it, really. Like if I asked you, Jake, at West Ham, like if you had your first 3 centre halves missing, your 4th centre half had to go off,
I'd be playing,
and your 3rd choice goalie's got to play. Look, we finished because Archie Gray was even one of the ill ones. He played 90 minutes, bless him. Draguzan, apparently they're bedridden midweek. Draguzan could only manage 45, and the last 45, when the game there was no goals in the second half, we ended the game with Porro, Jed Spence, Archie Gray as centre backs, and I think Reguilon at left back. Do you know what I mean? And Brandon Austin in goal, who's been at the club about 15 years and never played a game.
Maybe it was some dodgy lasagna that's happened in the past.
It's been a very interesting couple of weeks, but even down to the bare bones, you can see plain as day they're putting the effort in. Lots of fight, lots of battling. Even like Son's been ill, Basuma's been ill, Maddison's been ill for over a week. It's not been good at all, and results are poor. But I think a few of the top journos, Ornstein, I think, come out and said that Andy's got the full backing of the club, and I'm glad of that. It's long overdue. I mean, he's got more than enough excuses for the reason for the long run of poor results. I think they'd be a lot higher if he even had 2 or 3 regulars fit, let alone the backups being injured as well. And is it Matt Law at the Telegraph at the Times? He basically come out. I'm not a fan of him normally, but he come out and basically repeated what I said. I said last week, you can look at the league table. Some teams are a bit higher than you'd expect. Some are a bit lower. Some are about par. We just have one of them seasons where we can't do a lot more about it. I think we've got 1 or 2 slowly coming back. I think we've got 3 centre-backs not back until the end of January. We've just signed a new keeper. He sounds pretty good on paper, a young, talented one. Because Vicario, who's only just walking without a crutch. Do you know what I mean? It's an interesting time, let's put it. But the game and the result, I thought a draw would have been very fair. I can understand why Ange wasn't happy. They were more or less. Well, they got the keeper and a couple of centre backs out themselves, but midfield and up front they were very strong, and I thought we matched them for the whole game really.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, we listened on the way home on TalkSport to an interview that he gave Sam Matterface and it was rather spiky. He was annoyed, but also simultaneously not getting dragged into any fines in what he was saying. But they were debating it on there. O'Hara said it was handball. Cundy said it wasn't. Eddie Howe said I haven't got a clue because I don't know what the law is, which I think is fair enough. And it's just...
I think what I said about Insta, I think covers it. I think VAR can get involved with it if it being leading to a goal, but they can't pull it back. The ref's got to spot that handball which stops the play. I think if the ref, I don't know why he wouldn't pull it back because it's a very clear handball and they're usually stopped for a free kick.
Yeah.
It should have been a free kick on about the halfway line, and it shouldn't have got towards the pass to Anthony Gordon to score. Do you know what I mean? That's the bottom line. And like I said, as soon as the ref waves that away, it'd be one of those. I wouldn't be surprised after the game where the ref thinks I missed that and messed up. Do you know what I mean?
No, that's fair
and
enough.
there's
Right.
and VAR can't bail him out. So
No, because they've stepped back, haven't they? But anyway, right, let's move on. 20% off on Greg's for channel members. That's not going to happen ever. Well done, Sean. Wife comes first. There we go. See, he's got his priorities right. All the way to Manchester for coffee, chips, and a donut. Yeah, well worth it. Did you enjoy the snow? Yeah, we had a tricky last hour back, but apart from that, it was okay. There we go. Hey ho. Blimey. You all right, Sean? You on a domestic mid-show or what?
She overheard you read out the wife comes first, I think.
Yes, you does, baby.
Blimey.
I've cooked the tea and everything. Picked her up from work, cooked the tea, listened to the moaning.
Sean, you're on a tightrope here, but we will move on for your safety above all else. We've done the Villa game. We're now going to move on to the aforementioned Man City 4, West Ham United 1. I'll be honest, it was better than I thought, to be quite frank. We played quite well, and I haven't watched too much of Man City this season, but I can damn well understand why they've been exposed quite a lot, because we exposed them. And if we can, anybody can in this league, quite frankly, because we have been pretty awful. And we had, in the first, we had 17 attempts on goal away at Man City. We usually have about 4 up there. And we got ourselves into some really good positions. 3 clear-cut chances in the first 8 minutes. 2 for Kudus, 1 for Souček. Didn't test the keeper, and that's where the game was lost ultimately to start with. And poor defending story this season. Alvarez, Soufal for the first 2 goals. Bang, bang, easy as you like. And then the game was effectively done at that point. But we had chances, and we could have made a right good game of that. We didn't. But it was better, much better than what we saw against Liverpool. Probably a step down in calibre of opponent, of the confidence of Man City that's pretty near rock bottom at the moment, and how Liverpool were steaming on through until yesterday afternoon. But yeah, I can definitely see how Man City has been exposed and beaten this season, and we could have easily caused them a lot more problems than we did. He won't get sacked today. When I saw it, I was a little bit bemused, to be honest. I don't think he'll go today. I'll be really honest. He's on a tightrope. There's the picture of Steiden with Potter, but it seems like Steiden's got half a foot out of the door at this point as well. So I don't really know what's going on, but I'd be incredibly shocked if he goes before the Villa game. I think they're just setting up for what's coming in the weeks to come. But if Sullivan was going to sack him after that game, he'd have done it at the very latest this morning. It would have been done and dusted by 11 o'clock. So for it all to come out about 4 or 5 o'clock, I thought was a bit bizarre. I can't see him going now until after the Villa game, where we're likely going to lose, and he will then get the sack. But yeah, it was a better performance. And actually, I walked out of there a little bit frustrated because we had chances and we just squandered them, which I didn't expect to say going up there. But you get sacked in the morning came out, which was good. And I didn't see the players walk over. 3 of them walked over in the end. We were nearly back to the car at that point, I think. Yeah, but 3 of them walked over. It's pretty pathetic. Lopetegui straight down the tunnel, and I think he'll be going very shortly, but not today. But yeah, we'll move into Super Sunday. And Josh, I'll come to you. Fulham 2, Ipswich 2. They're picking up a fight, Ipswich, and I've heard by all accounts this was a pretty good game.
Yeah, I did watch this one, and I actually thought Ipswich had a better side. Thought they were very good account of themselves. I think, I said it before, they've been the most competitive by far out of the 3 that have come up. I said Leicester played well against us at the weekend, but I think Ipswich have done it more consistently over the season. Look at the players they've got. I think they've probably got the strongest squad out the 3 as well. And they give it a decent go in the transfer window in the summer. Look at some of the forward options they've got, the likes of Jack Clark, Ogbene, Liam Delap, Hutchinson. They basically they signed pretty much every good forward in the Championship last season. And there's rumours they're coming in for Jaden Philogene from Villa on loan as well. He also had a good year in the Championship last year. So they've got quite a bit of quality up front. Players are probably decent enough for bottom half Premier League. It's just the defence that worries me a bit. They do concede quite a lot of goals. And I think most of the wins have come away from home. I don't think they won a home game until they beat Chelsea the other month. So that they probably need to sort the home form out a bit and get a bit harder to beat. They got Sammy Smodic as well. He scored a goal the weekend. He's been quite decent for them. I think he's on about 4 or 5 for them now. Not bad for his first year in the Premier League. So they've got some decent options going forward. The likes of Morsey in the middle of the park, and you got Calvin Phillips as well. Not too sure how he's been getting on there, but it's not a bad option to have for the bottom half Premier League. I thought they gave a decent account of themselves at the weekend. At the end of the day, they conceded 2 penalties, and that's probably why they didn't win the game 2-0. I didn't think Fulham were great at all. They obviously always could have more of the ball, but I don't think they created that much. There was a questionable penalty that they never had given to them in the first half. Although second half they still got 2. So I don't think they deserve to win the game. So I don't think they can have too many complaints. So yeah, I thought Ipswich played quite well, to be honest. There was 3 pens in this game, 2 for Fulham, 1 for Ipswich. And I think if anything, I thought they were unlucky not to win. I think the second pen was a late one from Jimenez, which salvaged a point for Fulham. So yeah, I thought Ipswich probably the better side, and I think they've got a really decent chance of staying up. Wolves look decent now, but I'm still not convinced by their manager they've got in. They could easily fall away. Everton also not looking great. They still got teams like Palace who can be dragged back into it. So I definitely think they've got.
And they've actually done quite well, Josh. Sorry to interrupt, but I'm just looking at the Premier League. I mean, they're level on points with Wolves. They're just a point behind Everton, albeit both of those sides have a game in hand because Wolves play tonight and Everton have got the Merseyside derby. But they've recovered quite well in recent weeks.
Yeah, I think they've got the best chance out of the 3 that have come up. I think by a good distance. Southampton, they're gone. Leicester, I think they're playing a bit better since Van Nistelrooy's come in. Although I think they're on a lose streak of 4 or 5 games now after that initial bounce. So I still think they'll go. So yeah, I think they've got a decent chance. I don't think they will stay up, and Wolves and Everton will just have enough quality. But I do think they've got a decent chance. And a bit like Luton last season, they're giving a good account of themselves. They're probably the one everyone at bottom at the start of the season, but then they're actually the most competitive, like Luton last year. So yeah, I hope they do stay up. It'd be nice to see a team that comes up stay up for a change, especially one like that who's in League One 2 years ago. But I can't see it. But they've got a chance, and I thought they played well at the weekend.
They did indeed. Well, there's been a furore of reaction to your domestic live on the show, Sean. Apparently, you're 1 yellow card away from a ban. If you're on 4 yellow cards, you're 1 away from a suspension.
I'll take the suspension, mate. Don't worry. I'll take that.
I want to see the VAR of Sean cooking the tea. So, what was for tea?
We had a sweet chili stir fry with egg noodles. I had to go to Asda to get them at the last minute.
But very good. Under pressure, you delivered.
I do like my cooking.
Under pressure, he delivered. There we go. Yeah, Steiden's on cone duty in training. Yeah. Apparently, we need a VAR of Jake handing over cash for the coffees. I can confirm £7.05 left my bank account to buy 3 coffees in Greggs on the way to Manchester on Saturday. It pained me, but it happened. It happened. There you go. I can confirm we had Greggs coffee bought by Jake and we drank it in Costa because we just don't care, quite frankly. And we just wanted to. Yeah, no, video evidence is absolutely conclusive. Absolutely. Right, we are now going to go, Sean, over to Super Sunday, where Gary Neville was shoveling snow back on the pitch for no real reason in the end, as Manchester United got a point at Liverpool in a quite frankly crazy game, and as Arsenal slipped up, as Chelsea lost, so did Liverpool. They didn't lose, they slipped up.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty good game. I just got back from Bournemouth in time to watch this one. United probably edged it. I think some United fans have gone overboard saying they're by far the better team. I don't think they're by far the better side. I thought they might have just edged it. It didn't surprise me. It surprised me a little. Obviously, United are always sometimes up there gaming against Liverpool, not always. It didn't surprise me that Liverpool stuttered a little bit. And it didn't surprise me that Trent had a game where he couldn't mark, because every now and again we see these little montages of Trent looking like he's lost out in the street somewhere trying to mark a player, and that gets blurred over with, oh, look at this pass he does. Do you know what I mean? His defending's never been very good. His marking's always been poor. He's never been able to get off the ground and win a header. So that's still lingering in the background. So that him having a mare defensively did not shock me at all. I think they've got that. Is it Connor Bradley, the other right back? He's probably a better traditional right back than Trent, in my opinion. He hasn't got the passing range, obviously, but that takes us on to the issue we've got with our blimmin' England team, trying to fit Trent in the midfield because he can pass the ball. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, like I said, it was a pretty good game, a little bit end to end. United probably second half came into it a little bit more, didn't they? And I know they went behind in that, but it's just whether United can kick on from it. And like I said, I wasn't surprised to see Liverpool a bit flat because I've seen them look a little bit flat quite a lot this season. I think they've had an easy ride in a lot of games versus a lot of teams. So when a team's maybe got it right with the formation click that the back five United sort of played, it sort of worked. That's how it goes. But it did surprise me a little bit that United went at them as much. I thought they might have held on for a point, but they actually did a lot more attacking than what I was expecting. It's just whether United can build on it now. I think they're like the second or third bottom in the form table in the league. I'm not convinced. United fans are one of the biggest clubs where their fans get a bit overexcited if they have like an above average game and then they go over the top of a meltdown if they lose. I don't know who they've got next, but it wouldn't surprise me if they struggle to beat a far lesser team at home next week.
They got Southampton at home next week.
Oh, they might get that one over the line then. Yeah, so if they beat Southampton by 3 or 4, that might start boosting their confidence. The thing is, I think the manager's going to need more time than what a lot of United fans are expecting. I think I work for United fan. A lot of my good mates are United fans, and I think they overrate their squad a little bit for quality. Like I didn't have them in the top 4 this season at the start, and only United fans were expecting a title challenge, and we're fully behind Ten Hag. So I think it's easy to overrate players, and I think a lot of their fan base are very guilty of that. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not convinced by a lot of their players. I know Zerkey gets a hard deal. I'm not convinced by Hoyland either. Do you know what I mean? The keeper, I wouldn't be giving him any credit still. Do you know what I mean? I know he can pull off a save here and there, but I think the manager needs 4 or 5 of his own bodies in, and they've got the money to do it. Yeah. And you add on top of that, most managers when they play like a 3-4-3 sort of formation, it doesn't always work. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't always work. And we've seen it only really work recently was when Conte was at Spurs and he was 100% a counter-attacking side. Do you know what I mean? We attack with pace and we got Champions League with it. That not all fan bases are going to accept that, and obviously Conte was probably the master of the 3-4-3 and the counter-attack style. So
it just depends now with Man United whether they can push on, and whether that's going to come. And I mean, they've got the best game they possibly could have next in terms of Southampton at home. They couldn't have asked for a better game, but as you say, in a game a couple of weeks' time, they could lose to a Wolves at home or something.
They could
like that. Finish things off, Sean.
Obviously, Fernandes is out, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
Someone like a Fernandes being out, I just wonder whether he's got to make some bigger decisions than what United fans are expecting. Do you know what I mean? Because he's got to get bodies in that are going to suit that style, and it's going to have to be the spine's the main thing of it. If you play a back 3, the centre one has got to be a top draw centre half. The keeper has got to be consistent. Your centre forward's got to get you 20 goals a season. Do you know what I mean? And probably if you're playing that sort of, he's going to have a couple of creators behind it, and Fernandes is sort of one of them. I don't know. I'm not convinced by a long stretch at the moment. I'm not saying he's a bad manager. I'm sure he's very good, but I think he's got a lot of work, and I think that I can still see him only just struggling to get top 4 next year. So,
indeed. Well, there we go. And Josh, to finish things off, Liverpool still on for the league.
Yeah, I still think they'll win it. I was just hoping if they fall off, then you've got someone like Arsenal to put the pressure on. But I think even if they do crumble Liverpool and go through a bad run of form, I just don't think Arsenal or City or Chelsea are consistent enough to catch them anyway. So even if they do go on a little bit of a poor run, Liverpool just go a couple about winning. I wouldn't rely on Arsenal or Chelsea or anything like that to put the pressure on anyway. I just think all the other teams are too inconsistent now. So I think even if they aren't as good second half of the season and fall off a little bit, I still think they'll win it, to be honest.
I agree. Absolutely. It seems that way. Final comments. I mean, Roy Keane never fails to disappoint, does he? Trent the Tram made me chuckle. Fathead, hope you well. You're making a habit of this coming in at the end before we go, so you don't get your little gossip. But oh well, you'll have to wait till next week now. Thank you very much for joining us. Fathead, apparently smashing the like button will Hassan Lopetegui's exit. It won't. Farson, I think.
Hasten.
I don't know. But he's not going, and he won't go tonight. You have my personal guarantee. Sean, are you trying to grow a tash?
It's my New Year beard, mate. I'm limping through January already, and it's only just started.
Limping through January already.
Yeah.
Wow.
You said about final fours. Just want to jump in on what Josh just said about the other teams. Is that Chelsea haven't won in 4 games? Is that right?
Yeah.
And I've read a few Arsenal fans' comments on X, as it's called now. A couple of them are a bit more sensible, believe it or not, and they said for the last 2 years they've looked like a team that could win the league, but this year they don't. But then again, I've seen a load of Arsenal fans even mates that I know in town, like we were cheering on Man U yesterday because they think they can catch Liverpool. I think Liverpool, they got a game in hand as well, haven't they? 6 clear of game in hand, and that's Everton, like you said. I agree with Josh. I just don't see any of these other teams. I know Arsenal fans cry more than most about a decision, don't they? I'm sure you've read plenty of them crying about that penalty. But they're not blowing teams away much this year at times. I know they've beaten a few quite heavy, but they are stuttering a little bit. I don't know if Liverpool have got many more gears to go through, but they haven't got a third gear many times this year to potentially be 9 points clear. I did see after the City game, or was it before the City game? I think if they win every single game, Man City now they'll get 88 points. I think that was correct. And last year was it 90 and 92 that won it? I do not think they'll win every single game. I still think they'll be at least 4th though. So do not be shocked if Man City go whistling by Arsenal or Chelsea, in my opinion. Even
Absolutely.
being as open as you said they were.
I agree. Yeah, no, I do. That's just what they do in the end. But thank you very much. Our first, I think it is our first Premier League roundup of 2025. I didn't have Sean getting a rollicking live on air on my bingo card for tonight, but there we go. You just don't get that anywhere else, do you? Josh and Sean, pleasure as always. I will see you next week.
Okay, mate. Thanks again. See you soon.
And let's sort our timekeeping out for next week. No swanning off, Sean, all right?
I know, mate. My fault.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. See you next week. Goodbye.
See you later.